And again, a special thank you to Blue Shield for funding this mural and the scholarships behind that. The Attorney General, Rob Bonta, thank you very much for being here. The Board of Trustees, thank you very much for being here, supporting us as you always do. The Superintendent, Mrs. Rivera, or Rosalina, thank you very much for, it doesn't, she always makes a joke of it, but yes, I'm always in her office asking her, talking to her, trying to make things better here at Morningside. There's, the only people that put limits in front of our kids are the adults. So I don't believe in that. And as you walk out, you can see the display case. In a matter of a few years, we had just had a few trophies before I got here in chess. But if you look at 13 through the year 2020, it filled up another case, and I was joking with Mr. Herrera. I said, we need another case. So it's just one of those things that I am prideful of this school, of this district. I was born and raised here. I was born in the hospital down on 14th Avenue. It's just 14th or 15th. It's just one of those things. I take pride in this town. I have a lot of friends that move out, but I'm staying here. I learned so much throughout the years. Got to make many, developed a rapport here at Morningside. It's like a family more than anything. And just as, Larry Itliong thought equality was one of those moving forces, well, I do too. And I just, again, want to thank our learning community, everybody, for volunteering, for putting in their time, making sure that this event was going to be completed and successful. During those 10 days, I was here at 7 opening the gates and at 7 closing the gates, except for the last day, it was a little later than that. But again, it's just one of those things that thank the artist for being patient with me. He was saying, it's going to get done, it's going to get done, and I'm sitting there saying, come on, get it done. So it's just one of those things that, again, it just took the community to make this happen. And again, thank all of you for being here. Again, Eliseo, and then it's just all the volunteers. Arnie was here. I don't know how he did it. He was here all day. Just little areas at a time. I know my hands would be like this at the end of the day. But again, it's just thank you, Arnie. And we had other community members come and volunteer their time. And it's just been fun. And probably the most exciting day of this whole event was the day that we got to see our kids participate in painting. That was just, it was great, and they were excited, and now they get to see what they put on the wall, and that wall will be there for as long as the school is up. So again, they were a part of that. And we have kids, because the art contest took part 2 years ago, Patty, and we do have some 4th and 5th graders that are no longer here, but they were able to peek through the fence and say, hey, I did that. So they get to carry that with them for the rest of their life. But again, thank you for those individuals that really put forth, and again, it's part of history, and Larry Itliong is part of Delano history, and our kids here at Morningside will not forget that as long as I'm here. Again, thank you for being here, and we're going to give some little gifts to our special guests, but again, let's have breakfast before, anything else. So again, thank you very much for being here.
This turn is here, a turn next is me, is from him crossing over.
Wow.
So that's significant turning point. Transition. So, Eliseo can explain more.
Yeah, it was pretty better.
So the kids' drawing actually inspired the whole design. This whole thing is the book opening up, and the pink is like the middle of the book. So one half of the book is here, the other half's over here. If you see, Itliong's a baby. It's drawn by the kid, his family. And that's the Lavatory, because there's a famous poem in the Philippines about heroes and Rizal and unfinished revolution. It's called Like the Molave. It's taught to us as 5th graders. And it was written by somebody from his generation. So I thought I use that as also the inspiration, the text for the mural, besides the images from the kids. Never give up, of course, is Larry's famous advice to her kids. And the other side is the Filipino equivalent, which is Hindi ka pa sisiil, which is from the Philippine anthem. Sa manlulupig, hindi ka pa sisiil. So it's, I repeated, I kind of like honor the Philippine national anthem here also. Written in Baybayin. So I kind of made up his face as 15-year-old because we don't have pictures of him as a 15-year-old. So that's hopefully how he looked like. Beg your pardon? Oh, okay.
Okay, so the main image is based from the logo of the school, Morningside. We have the sign of the school, the logo on the top, right, in the open book. So this, all of this is actually the story that Larry is telling to Patty, coming alive, you know, and of course the boats, right, the mariners, right. So there's a Filipino boat. It's like 2,000-year-old boat from the Manunggul Jar. The Soul boat, and then this is the USS Empress of Asia, which she rode to go to the United States. On his suit is the map of the Philippines and the United States, to symbolize also that we were part of the motherland was America for them as kids. They were raised as Americans, so that's something I think the kids should also know, that, you know, the Star Spangled Banner was what they saw. They have George Washington, Abraham Lincoln in the school classroom. So they were raised as Americans. So coming here to America is just going to the motherland for them, right? So at the top is never give up on the left, which is the what Larry would tell his kids, never give up. And the other side is in Baybayin, the Filipino translation, which is Hindi ka pa sisiil, called directly from the Philippine national anthem. There's a line that says, sa manlulupig, hindi ka pa sisiil. In the face of tyranny, never give up. So we honor that. Actually, on this side of the wall and that side of the wall, Mabuhay is the final exaltation after our ancestors read the Declaration of Independence against Spain. My grand-uncle was one of the signers of the Declaration of Philippine Independence. And the idea of the Declaration of Independence is to Philippinize the Philippines, for the Filipino story to be the major player of the country, not the foreigner, but the Filipino story. So in a way, that's what Larry Itliong brought into America. And for us to carry on every Larry Itliong Day is to make the Filipino story a major event, so that it will enter into art to make it extraordinary. Once it's art, it will enter into the imagination and the cultural landscape of the United States. Right? So that's when we become Americans, I think. So I believe that Larry was the first American Filipino, because he was kind of like the first to champion the idea of living to live, not living to work. Because living to live means we tell our stories, right? And one of the things I realized is that in America versus the Philippines, we don't think of ancestral houses where we tell our story to our great-grandchildren. So in the Philippines, we have ancestral houses. Both of my family's side has ancestral houses. And they would invest thousands of dollars on paintings to tell our story. But here, we buy houses to sell. So we're still living to work, not living to live. So art is the way we could make our stories extraordinary. So that becomes part of the American imagination. Because one of the things I realized when I first did the mural in '95, I was here in '94 in Delano trying to find out why everybody does not want Larry Itliong to be the main image. Everybody wanted Philip Veracruz. Uncle Roy Morales told me Larry Itliong is the man, you know? So I talked to the strikers, because one of the things that they thought was Larry was that he was pro-Marcos because he never spoke out against the dictatorship, but Philip was openly anti-Marcos, and it's because he didn't want to have anything to do with the Philippines, because he has kids in America, and what's important is what happening here in America. So one is living to live, one is living to work. You know, if you think about the Philippines more as a major event than your life here. So Larry is that person who tells us your life is here already, build on your story in America. Right? So so on this side, this is all about his journey to the United States. And oh, okay. One point. I realized that when the Filipinos put the Filipino story into the American stage in Delano, there's no default image in a work of art when they saw Filipinos. Unlike other cultures like Mexicans or Chinese, or there's a default work of art that tells their story. With Filipinos, there's nothing. So that means that our stories have not yet been elevated to that place where it entered into the imagination of the United States and into the cultural landscape. Because one advantage that Cesar Chavez had was that the Tres Grandes left behind 10 murals all over the United States before the war. Diego Rivera left behind 5 murals. The other of the Tres Grandes left the other 5. So they know exactly what the pre-colonial or pre-Columbian Mexico looked like. With Filipinos, we don't even have an image of the pre-Spanish Philippines. You know, there's no image of our story that is not colonial, right? So our story hasn't entered that. So this first work of art that honors Larry Itliong is very, very significant, because hopefully this will be a default image for Americans on what Filipino story looks like, and it will tell the story automatically.